dangerously close.
Well, howdy there, cowpokes and buckaroos. Welcome to my Views of My Own podcast. And boy, oh boy, do you know what would be nice? If you went on down and left a nice 5-star rating on your podcast app. Heck, you could even leave a nice review. Here's a writing prompt. You could say, I like this podcast. Boy, that'd be swell. Shoot, you could even share this episode with a friend. Why not share this episode on your social media with your friends and your enemies? Well, this has been Wild West Doug here. Thanks for listening to an old cowboy rambling along the dusty trail. Well, until next time, adios, muchachos. Yeah! Oh yeah, dude, I was actually this morning. I was like, dude, I should eat a healthy breakfast before I interview you. And then so I went to the farmer's market and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get like organic vegetables. But then all I did was get street tacos.
It's the Lord's will.
But they were veggie. So I mean, actually, I got like a 10-pound bag of peaches. I just haven't busted them open yet.
Whoa,
Georgia peaches are in season, man.
Nice.
So I'm up here in Nashville, so it's like we get, it's a 1-day drive, so that's like straight from the tree. Dude, what am I doing? I gotta introduce you.
For me to come to see that place, but one day, yeah, for sure.
Oh, dude, this is a destination, man, for people from the UK all the time, dude. I used to work downtown and like as a bar back, like all the time, and yeah,
a bar bag.
Oh,
it's like
it's like a job. It's like for people that like me that I don't want to be a bartender because it's like I can't maintain that level of being friendly to drunks for that long. So I was always a bar back. That's just, you're the dude, like you tap the kegs, you carry the kegs around. It's basically just a lot of heavy labor and then some bartending. Like when the bartenders get overwhelmed, then I got to step up and I start mixing drinks and shit. But the thing is, yeah, it's like as a bar back, you can always walk away. Like I could be like, oh, I gotta go. Yeah. I got a keg. I gotta change a keg. Out.
Nice.
My guest today is Matt Adcock. Matt is a science fiction and horror writer. He also co-hosts the Cyberpunk podcast, Host in the Shell, and is chair of the Society of Authors, Hertfordshire branch. He is the author of the acclaimed cyberpunk novel and comic, Complete Darkness, which was picked as a book of the year by Den of Geek. You can read his short stories in Neo Cyberpunks Volume 1 and 2 and Dread Cold, and find him on social media at Cleric20. What's up, Matt?
Hey, evening or morning, whatever it is over there.
It's early afternoon here.
Okay. No.
Was it like 7 o'clock there?
It is. Yeah, evening here.
Nice. Yeah, that's why I was saying I just had tacos for breakfast. So it's like, it's crazy how far apart with the time we are.
But we're bonded with the technology of Zoom, so that's cool.
Dude, so I just read your book, man. Like
Wow.
I just finished reading your novel yesterday, and then today I was saving the comic for after I'd finished the book. So I read that this morning, just like because I knew that would only, be a 5-minute thing. So man, before we get into it, do you mind if I just read the back of the book for everyone before we get going into this? Because
yeah, I'll pay you later.
This says it better than I can say it. This is Matt's book, Complete Darkness. And here is just a little quick description. In the near future, we map the elusive dark matter around us, only to find out that it is hell itself, and it is very real. As the satanic president, Razur, is it Razur?
Yeah.
Attempts to bring forward Armageddon to prevent humanity repenting the fate of us all. Oh, sorry. The fate of us all rests in the hands of Cleric 20, a hedonistic loner with a checkered past, and his robot sidekick, GIX. Is that how you say it?
GIX? Some say gigs, some say GIX. It's entirely up to you.
I like GIX or gigs.
Okay.
They're both cool.
Yeah.
An action-packed literary shock to the senses that mixes
flights of comic fantasy with bouts of brutal violence. Mankind's only hope seems to be having a very bad day. So
Boom.
I just wanted to throw that out there.
Drop the mic.
At first I was concerned about talking about your book and trying to avoid any major spoilers.
Oh, I don't care.
By the time I was on page 20, I realized we could do 5 episodes just discussing tech and world building.
Yeah, dude. Oh, it's a dream. That is why you write sci-fi, is to make up stuff. And the trick is to try and stay ahead of the curve, because I wrote this like 10 years ago, and half the stuff I was thinking up then is now happening. I'm like, shit. Got to think of something more wacky.
Yeah, dude. Oh, I mean, if you don't mind, man, like I actually just have just straight from the pages of the book, I have questions about some of the tech that you create or envision, and cool. Some of the this is interesting because it's like, what did you call this? Like, do you have a special brand for this, like theological science fiction? Is that?
I mean, I'm making up a new one by the sound of things. I've done some research. It doesn't seem to meet much of these guys out there. You either write theology or you write sci-fi. Very few blend the two.
Yeah.
So I call it thigh, which is, it sounds like you have like Tourette's or something when you say it, but
No, I remember when I was first ever started talking to you, and you were like, yeah, this book is. You sent me something like that, like sci-fi, and I was like, okay, I'm interested. And then you were like, all right, check it out, dude. Portal to hell, mech suits, AIs, assassin droids, fucking. I mean, everything. What isn't in here, man?
There's the perfect female created by guys. It's kind of creepy, but it's supposed to be,
Oh yeah. Geoengineering. I mean, bioengineering. There is geoengineering as well. With your like the skyscrapers that are like tethered to satellites because they're so tall.
Yeah. I mean, damn.
But man, I was gonna say, like, honestly, you came right out of the gate with some gnarly tech called GIREWG. That's the acronym. And could you share a little bit about what that is, what it's used for, and some of the theory behind it?
Man, I mean, it's a wish fulfillment kind of future stuff where you have collaborations of droids and humans working together, or sometimes against each other, trying to unpack the universe around us. And these guys are like the cutting edge of this. They are the ones that are. It's a gambit. No one knows how to map dark matter, because it's by its very nature. The reason we call it dark matter is we can't map it.
Yeah.
We don't know what the fuck it is. But isn't it a fun concept to have this group of people and tech that could actually do that?
What does that acronym stand for? It's so long, I forgot.
Dude, I'd have to look it up, because it's something early infestation research.
Yeah, the early infestation research guard.
Yeah, they track stuff, with tech that we can only dream of, and it can either alert us to it, or they can just like laugh as we get fucked up by whatever they find.
If you don't mind, I'll just call it Geyerweg, because that's what I was calling it in my head.
I don't have a preferred pronunciation on that one yet. I mean, a guy wanted to do an audio book of this for me, and he got so messed up with all the tech terms and stuff. He had to write a massive spreadsheet. We're still not there yet, but maybe we'll get there one day.
Well, the thing is, it's so realistic because everything is an acronym, and that's how. I mean, this is the government, this is the future government of London too. So at this point, especially now that we have like an integrated society of AI working alongside, like you said, alongside and also against humanity, everything's going to be an acronym. And I love how there's people, like their names are acronyms, or AIs are acronyms.
Yeah.
Anyway, Geyerweg, this is was fascinating about some of the tech that they're using. They've found some way, and I don't understand this, but I liked it in the book. They're able to use reflected light that have bounced off of like a distant star cluster or something like that.
Yeah.
And when it comes back, they're actually able to
zoom in on it.
And so you can watch things that happened in the past as though it's in real time. So you could zoom into like a medieval village, because at one point the sunlight from the earth hit the earth, that light reflected into space, and it's out there like a photograph, right?
So if it bounces back again, we can catch that in theory. It's a pretty far-fetched theory, but it could, you never know. But imagine the things we could solve. We're like, was there a Jesus? Let's have a look. Oh yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
Wait for the camera, whatever, it's all good.
No, it's fascinating, man. You could even go further. You could be like, because there's that debate where dinosaurs birds.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know, let's have a look.
You hard out Jurassic Park. Yeah, you got them wrong. Jurassic, they were actually intelligent, like having conversations like, oh no, it looks like there's a meteor coming. We should do something. I can't. My arms are too small. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Imagine what we could do with that kind of tech. Like if you really could figure out how to capture like the returning light, or however it works. I guess it's capturing the bounce. The bounce, the photograph, or the videography.
Silent movie, I guess. Yeah.
There wouldn't be any sound because this is the speed of light.
Yep.
I wonder if we could ever get the sound from things that were more recent.
Wow. I mean, we're just exponentially expanding the tech capabilities here,
Which doesn't need to happen, because this book is so full of tech. I read sci-fi all the time, man. It's my favorite genre. It's my favorite kind of movie. Cool. And you were really, man, you're throwing stuff out there where I was like, I haven't heard that. Really? So yeah, nice. Man. So I guess we can.
I'm gonna take it as a positive. Yeah.
Oh hell yeah, yeah, for sure, man. Shit, man. I guess the next thing I was gonna say is you also employ some tech in the book that I feel like I'm not even being pessimistic in saying doesn't sound too far off for the near future. For instance, the head chips and the mandatory social ratings, which we'll explain in a second. And I was going to say, what do you think are some of the contemporary trends that could lead us to eventually having social rating displays?
I mean, isn't it like every government's wet dream to be able to see how someone's either criminal or medical record, or just how they're feeling, beamed above their head at all times? They can't turn it off. I mean, that's going to make society such a different place. Forget people liking you on Facebook or whatever. But you could have real time, reactions to yourself in the street. You walk down the street, people are like, "Woo, boo, no, we hate that guy," just on sight. I'm like, whoa, shit.
Yeah, I mean, especially governments, law enforcement. You're being, you've been stopped by some kind of law enforcement group, and your social rating, which it's mandatory, you can't hide it, and it suddenly shows worried, scared, and even if it's only because they're all wearing mech suits and they're psychopaths, and it's not, you didn't do anything wrong, it doesn't matter. They're gonna go, oh, criminal.
Waste you to be on the safe side.
Yeah, man. I was thinking and don't some countries employ, I think there is like a social credit system to some degree. I'm not super familiar with all of
it's I think it's an extension of the gaming avatar. So like in Korea, if you get really into a game, you can actually have real world, badges and stuff to show that you're that good in the game. I mean, it's only one step away then to making that digital. Because Elon Musk and stuff, they're looking on how to fuse chips into your head. It's going to definitely happen at some point.
Yeah.
But this is just like, when they do that, they'll use it for this sort of thing as well, because Facebook will pay to be the first person on there or something.
Speaking of Facebook and their whole what they're trying to do now with the metaverse, and trying to get us even more submerged into our phones and our computers, and then it would make sense, eventually, once your physical body becomes less and less important to your day-to-day life, you might be like, yeah, fuck it, sure, put a computer chip in my head that shows my social, especially if what is your option? Prison, if they're like, this is mandatory.
Yeah, or death, or locked in the matrix somewhere to be a battery.
I won't go too far into it, but you do have a very dystopian future for those that get caught up in the prison system in complete darkness.
Yeah, some people have there was a few complaints about that, but I was like, that's what a deterrent is for. You don't want to get caught.
Yeah. Well, and then also it's because there's so much constant experimentation, and so much of it needs to be done on human subjects. So they're like, well, once you're a prisoner of a certain, you've been convicted of a certain level of crime, you've forfeited everything, and you can just be a human test subject, and no one's gonna stop you.
Yep. In my next book, you also get forced to fight in a kind of gladiatorial world, but it's not in a physical realm. Like you can manifest in a VR as an avatar, anything you want. Like if you were into dragons, you could be a dragon. I could be a fucking robot, and we would fight to the death. But it would have real world repercussions because they would take or distribute our vigor from our actual bodies. So if you killed me in the VR, you would get a shot of my life force into you in the real world, and I would be pretty fucked up. It's a couple of deaths and you're out in the real world. So that's kind of fun.
The thing is, like, this all sounds like, okay, yeah, I mean, super sci-fi, whatever, but like, I guess what I was saying earlier, like, there are modern trends, contemporary trends, where it does seem like some of the stuff that you're talking about, that's not that far off. I mean, specifically, like you said, the headship. Elon Musk right now is out here telling people that you should get a Tesla headship.
Yeah.
In case you want your head to spontaneously catch fire.
I'm not a fan of Elon. Got that. Because they're going to have an override button as well, so they can make you do stuff you don't want to do.
So it was kind of a personal question, man, but obviously, like, it's a like, you do. I mean, we've been talking about all the sci-fi stuff so far in tech and all that, but I mean, there's theology in here. If you don't mind if I ask, man, are you a religious dude?
I was brought up in a very religious home, I guess. But am I religious now? I mean, that's, you have to ask me on a certain day, because some days I'd love to think I'm communing with a all-powerful creator God. Mm-hmm. Other days I don't think there's anything. So I'm kind of in that flip-flop state at the moment, because I honestly, having seen as much of the inside track of religion as I have through my lifetime, it's kind of dispiriting in many ways. And if there is a God, he must be really pissed off with the job that a religion is doing for them on earth, because like he's doing shit PR. And yeah,
for sure. I think you and I might fall into kind of a similar philosophical camp. Like, I don't know if agnostic is the perfect term for it, but I think it might be like the closest to what, because I'm not an atheist, or I'm not strictly, because I don't feel that I feel like being an atheist is almost the same thing as being religious, because it's like you're saying that you know for a fact anything.
Yeah. I mean,
no offense, atheists or Christians or whatever.
Yeah, you can redact that. It's fine.
All right, well, man, moving on. So we'll just, I guess for now, we'll say agnostic. Is that fair?
Cool. Yeah, I'm cool with that. And, but I do believe in mushroom beer. You readers,
we forgot to talk about the mushroom beer, man. Or, I mean, we didn't forget. We were talking about it. I just hadn't hit record yet.
Yeah. I found it by mistake in a shop, and I thought, this can't be real. It's a beer made of mushrooms, and they're ancient mushrooms, or so they say.
Sick.
And they have a funky brand name, Funked. Look. Funky.
Oh, that's made out of lion's mane, dude. I take that every day.
Yeah.
That's cool. So it's a beer that while you're killing brain cells, you're also regenerating brain cells. That's the amazing thing about lion's mane. Right. It's a neurotropic.
It's really low alcohol though, so you have to drink like 5 cases to get pissed. But you also be super intelligent at that point. So
dude, yeah. that would be good too. Like, that would be perfect at like certain types of parties or social gatherings where you look like you're just pounding beers. Everybody's like, damn, that guy can just pound beers, but you're just getting smarter.
Yeah. And then the great lines to pick up women or whatever, or men or whoever you kind of want to pick up.
Yeah.
I met one of my heroes, the George R. Martin guy who wrote Game of Thrones.
Oh, cool.
Because like, I was such a noob when I got published with Complete Darkness. I signed up to go to this thing called TitanCon in Belfast, and it's a big nerd fest. They have all the fancy authors and stuff. And they said, "Do you want to read me your new sci-fi book on stage?" I was like, "Shit, yeah, of course I do."
Yeah.
And then so I pitch up there, and I'm not very good at reading it out, so it's not my strength. The guy before me is freaking George R. R. Martin, who's like talking about Winter and stuff, and I'm just like, "Oh my god, how do you follow that?" And so, but it was fun. And he's a really fun guy. And so afterwards, he says, "Oh, Matt, look, let me tell you something about getting old. I used to go to parties when I was about your age, say, and I'd look for the hottest woman. I'd try and, chat to her. Now I go to parties, I just look for the comfiest chair. I can have a little snooze and I'll be fine." I'm just like, whoa, that's sobering for old age.
Dude, first of all, yeah, man, I'm a fan of him, dude. I obviously, I really enjoyed Game of Thrones, but I just watched his latest thing. He's the executive producer of it. I don't know how much he's creative input. I assume some. It's called Dark Winds. Have you heard of it? It's about
I haven't checked that yet. Is it
dude,
good?
It's so sick, man. It's the tribal police on Navajo land in the 1970s, solving a like some murders and a bank heist and all the shit, but at the same time, all of this ancient Navajo religion stuff is involved and it's real. So that's what's cool about it.
Dude, I need to see this. Graham, it's not even over. It's not on our side of the channel yet, but like when it comes over here, I'll be.
Oh, dude, I mean, do you get Amazon over there?
Amazon Prime, but it's different to yours. They take all good stuff out.
Oh man, because I got hooked on it. So basically, what I did, so I found it on Amazon and I watched episode 1. I was like, dude, I'm hooked, man, because it's like I love
I'm already hooked, and I haven't seen it. Shit.
The mystical Navajo religion, like mixed with like, you know, and it's also there's a lot of stuff going on. Like the FBI is like super racist, and like whenever a homicide happens, if a homicide happens on Navajo land, it goes federal. So the local police have to turn over evidence to these FBI agents. Don't give a shit. Then what happened was I found out Amazon's like, oh, also we don't own the rights to this. This belongs to AMC, and they're like, you have this, but. Dude, I beat the system because I got a 1 week free trial to AMC and binge watched the entire series and then canceled my subscription.
That's the way to do it. Yeah. Damn, that's cool. Oh, I love heists. Anything to do with like heists, crime, all that stuff. That's my other favorite genre after. Well, I moved third. I go sci-fi, horror, and then crime, heists.
Yeah.
But that's a good... I'm writing another book, as well as the second book in the Complete Darkness world for my publisher. I'm writing I'll pitch it to you, and you can pretend to be a publisher, see if you play this one.
Ooh, I love that. Yeah, I love this game.
So you've seen Point Break, right? Where
it's in my top 10 favorite movies of all time, dude. Hands down. I did an entire episode on this podcast about Point Break.
Nice. I need to check that. Okay, so you've got this crew of lovable kind of bank robbers, but their thing is they're massive, massive fans of the film Aliens. So they actually dress up in cosplay as the Marines from Aliens.
Okay.
And they've made themselves a fucking fork loader, like homemade fork armor.
Power loader.
Like, power loader, that's the one. And I need to get the terminology right. And so we can rip bank doors off and, you know, all that stuff. They carry light ammo, but like they dress as the Marines. They talk to each other as the Marines. You've got Vasquez, Hicks, you know, Hudson. Yeah. That sort of, and that is their, so it's basically Point Break with a alien skin on it. With using lines of dialogue from the film, and badass. But obviously, one of them. Here's the thing: one of them gets killed inadvertently getting away from a heist, and they bring in an unknown guy who's an absolute asshole. He's Burke. They call him Burke from the company.
Oh, nice.
And but he's like the sort of who for him in, send dick pics and stuff. So like they all hate him, but they kind of need him for the thing, and then obviously he kicks off and goes dark from there. But yeah, that's the general premise.
Yeah, first of all, you're not going to believe this, the synchronicity of this particular situation, but
okay.
I did an entire episode on the podcast about the movie Point Break. You know what the other movie that I did I've done a few movies. Like at this point, I probably maybe have done 10 movies, but the other one I did was an episode called "Is Aliens a Perfect Film?" Because it's possibly my favorite movie of all time.
So you basically
just took my 2 favorite movies or close to it and combined them. So I'm gonna go ahead and say, as a publisher, our publishing house is going to offer you literally everything that we have, and we're gonna take out loans to make this real.
Okay, I'm gonna need your help getting the film rights, because like to actually use the character names and stuff, I need James Cameron probably on board for that. But you know, didn't his wife direct Point Break or something like Catherine Bridgestow?
His ex-wife directed Point Break.
So yeah, they must. If we get them both, buy them dinner or something, maybe we can get it worked out. I don't know
Exactly the details of their divorce, but I know what happened. It was like very satisfying to her because so James Cameron had a film out that same year that she came out with Point Break, and Point Break just absolutely destroyed it at the Oscars and won all these awards.
I mean, it's such a great film. I mean, we could talk the rest of the time on alternating between Point Break and Aliens, because they're both such. Put them on any time. There's only so many films you can put on any time, day or night, and enjoy. But those both fall into that category.
I've probably seen Aliens well over 50 times in my life. I've probably seen Point Break that many times too. I would say Point Break is Keanu Reeves' best role, and I'm even saying I'm counting The Matrix.
So I'd take the skin off chicken.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, he's like he meets the asshole FBI chief, and he's like, do you smoke? you drink. He's like, sir, I take the skin off chicken.
Dude,
excellent film.
I knew we were going to get on. This is cool.
Oh man. Oh shit. Back to okay. I wrote so many questions for you. I'm sorry. We're getting closer to the territory of a spoiler alert, but I promise we're not going to get fully there. And
I don't mind.
I'm you're the one answering the question, so you can be as mysterious as you choose with. But I am this is something in the book. It's a huge part of the book that threw me off is the antagonism between what you call the battle mages, which are basically like weaponized magicians, I guess is an easy way to put it.
Good term. That's a good term for them.
And the AI-led mech soldiers. So this is kind of like the Marines. The Marines at this point are mostly android AI with some humans in mech suits, right?
Yeah, some humans in mech suits, yeah.
Which are essentially the two branches of the London II Army. I think traditionally it's always portrayed that magic people are the forces of good that have to battle mechanized evil. I guess most famously, Star Wars comes to mind.
Okay. Yeah.
I can think of a few other examples, but
I can see that.
But you took a different approach, I think. And I was going to say, how would you compare the dynamic in Complete Darkness to the traditional magic versus machine stereotypes?
Okay, well, see, my magic source is dark magic. So that's my jumping off point. These are guys are Sith Lords. They're not Jedi. They're they want to fuck people up.
Yeah.
And so and the Marines are good old, God bless them, US or London Marines.
Yeah.
Who fight for the good. So the actual Commander Richardson, who is based on a friend of mine, he is the Marine leader, and he's a righteous dude. He's kind of like a Tom Cruise-esque kind of good guy.
Yeah.
Whereas you've got the nasty
hard man, but a good man.
Yeah, hard but good. Yeah, he'll fuck you up, but it'll be in the cause of justice.
Yeah.
Whereas you've got the actual devil himself as the president, and he loves all that dark magic shit around him. So his personal army of battle mages are bad news, really.
I wonder if maybe it's just my own personal bias in it, and that maybe like that maybe you it wasn't meant to be like a what like that it flips on its head. But for me, when I was when I first started reading it, I thought Commander Richardson, or how do you pronounce it?
Richardson, but he's
Richardson. So that's just an English versus American version of the same name. That's cool, Richardson. Anyway, sorry, man, I went off on a tangent. No, but I thought Commander Richardson was actually like a bad dude. I thought that the AI that led the Marines was a bad, evil, bad guy. I was like, because I'm so used to like the Terminator and shit like that, where I'm like, oh, this is these guys are like Skynet. They're trying to fuck the humans up. And in the beginning, when you're talking about how the president, who I didn't realize was the devil at first, is he has like his own,
but hey,
yeah, he has his own military branch. These are the battle mages, and I was like, oh, okay, he's like, what he's trying to do is create like an incorruptible arm of branch of the military, because they're all human. You can trust humans, which fucking not the case.
Yeah, and I'm glad it spun your head, because I didn't do anything in this book purposefully to try and spin anyone's head or weird people out. This is just my mind unspooling onto the page, and so when people are freaked out by it, kind of like I go, cool, because that's the thing. A lot of publishers turned this book down because they were like, oh, it's too weird. You can't have any kind of like theology in there. People won't buy that if it's not sci-fi. And other people are like, oh, it's too violent. There's too much gore. So be like, oh, it's too sexist. They didn't get the whole kind of patriarchal hell of the earth becoming hell. And that's one of the things that's happening. I mean, you guys are leading the vanguard on that with people like Trump and stuff. But anyway, it's supposed to freak you out. You're not supposed to be enjoying the prospect of earth becoming hell. So, but a lot of them just got like too weirded out by it and said, well, no, we can't sell this. But I'm glad someone did.
And that's the thing too, is like in this book, you got to take it at face value that in this book the devil is real. He's the fucking president.
It's fantasy, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah.
And that's why, and I guess like that's why it took me a minute to catch on that the battle mages I'm sitting here, like I'm thinking Jedis. I'm like, oh, these guys are using the Force. They're gonna fight off these droids. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, oh, eventually, I'm gonna be on the side of the people that wield magic. But like you said, it's dark fucking magic. And this is going back to the very beginning when I was talking about the tech that you were discussing the very beginning. Geierwek, as I was calling it. And those are the same people that were able to go, take basically just take photo or video straight from the past at any point in the past. But they were also, I guess, the same ones that were able to map dark matter and were able to find out that actually inside of dark matter, that is like the realm of hell.
Yeah.
Can you explain how did they do that?
Okay, I mean, shit. That's a I'd have to kill you if I explained the detail. But like,
or I mean, just a
glimpse
of how they did it.
I mean, basically, I thought once you have this level of tech that can scan space to that nth degree and focus right in on something as obscure as a starlight that bounced off us once, why not? If you put that into wider variables and then just add in some sort of the religious mumbo jumbo from Earth's, greatest thinking, theologians or whatever. Because I spent a lot of time with theologians at the college I was at, and we had some great chats. So that's my what if. You kind of run hard science through a theological filter, and suddenly it expands things that science would say this can't exist. Theologians say it definitely exists. Suddenly you've got scientific proof that it exists. You're like, oh shit, this changes things. And obviously it's not real. This is a sci-fi. I make this shit up, so that's the joy.
Yeah.
I don't. If people say, "Well, that will never happen," I'm like, "No shit. Let's hope it doesn't." Because
let's hope we don't find out that 90% of the universe is hell.
Yeah, damn.
And what's that old saying, man? And I know it's getting a little trite, but what is it? It's magic, or no, advanced science is indistinguishable from magic. Is that?
Yeah, I heard that.
I think I said it wrong, but it's a cool saying, and I think it's very true.
Yeah, and until science gets a handle on stuff, this is what they've always used to call it, magic. It's like, oh, the sun's coming up. Oh, that's magic because we prayed to it and it came up. Yeah, great. Well on, guys.
I mean, even us right now, like if I were to take this and show it to someone in the 1700s, and I'm like, all right, check it out. Matt is over in England. Yes. I'm over here in the southern United States. We're speaking in real time through my magic box. And and you can see him right there. You look, there he is. He's actually in, and like, they would think you were inside the computer, man.
Yeah. I mean, headspin doesn't even begin to, they'll burn you for a witch, sure.
Yeah, of course, dude. Because all the like founding fathers over here were like, they all had like brain syphilis and shit. So they were like going nuts.
Well, I mean, you've got to wonder why we sent the nut jobs out to find the new world, right? They're the only people crazy enough to cross the sea. I mean, we England has fun for this. Like we sent all our criminals to found a colony in Australia, and they're just like, right, bye, see you guys.
And then Australia ended up being like really nice. I mean, I guess no, I should be.
Creek, though, I should
be sensitive to the fact that there also was a horrible genocide there as well. So I take that back.
And Wolf Creek, the films. I mean, that doesn't play well for the Australians. You've seen those films, right?
I have not. What are they
called?
You've
not seen Wolf Creek? Oh my god!
Oh, is that like a murder? Like
he pretends to be a friendly outback guy who help you when your car breaks down, and then he
I saw that. Yeah, I saw
head on a stick and stuff, and it's just the grimmest. But
that's just real. That's not fiction. I believe that 100%, man.
Oh yeah, that's happening out there. Yeah.
Serial killers are not that far into the realm of fantasy. Like the most weirdest, most fucked up shit. Like that's what they actually do.
Yeah. I was a film reviewer for 20 years, so I had to go to cinema for free every week. It was tough, but I was.
Oh man, I'm so sorry for you, bro.
Yeah, I know. Thanks for the props there. But the scariest film that actually affected me was Natural Born Killers.
What? When I walked out of
that film, right? I was like, I was in this fairly scary city, and I was like, fuck, you just don't know who you're gonna meet. If they want to fuck you up, they're much more likely to attack you, kill you, kidnap you, do whatever they want to do than some poltergeist or any kind of alien, or if you put on the percentage chance of actually dying from to not very likely. The serial killer thing is right there, just some guy or some woman or some couple who just like to kill people, and you've crossed their path in the wrong time. That's it. That's you done.
Dude, we have such different experiences with that film. First time I think I might have been like, I was either like 12 or 13 first time I saw it. And that's like when I would go stay with my dad in the summer, and he put a TV in my room, and I was like, this is like the lap of luxury, because my mom was like, she wouldn't let me have a TV in the bedroom. She's like, I was an outside kid anyway, so it wasn't that hard to keep me away from the TV. But yeah, cool. But then my dad would be like, he also had like, cable and all this shit, and so I was like, watch whatever I want, and I was like, Natural Born Killers sounds right. And then like the scene where like Woody Harrelson starts the prison riot and Rage Against the Machine starts playing. I remember this is one of the clearest memories of my childhood ever, dude. I was like probably about 12, something like 12, 13. I was jumping up and down on the bed, just going like, yeah, like I was, because it was so much adrenaline, dude.
Yeah, no, you're right. It does. That scene is mental, and it taps into society's, passion for, people who will break the rules and be extreme. Robert Downey Jr.'s character is fascinating, isn't he? Because he basically ends up helping them escape from prison because he's so into them. I'm like, what the hell? Dude.
People forget that's one of Robert Downey Jr.'s greatest roles.
Yeah.
Hands down. Hands the fuck down.
Yep. Yeah.
Everyone that's in it. Tommy Lee Jones, unbelievable
brilliant
in that movie, dude. Obviously, of course, Woody Harrelson. That's probably, I would say that might be Woody Harrelson's best role.
I think for me it is. And Juliette Lewis. I mean, wow.
Juliette Lewis is amazing in the movie.
Scary, but sexy and scary at the same time. I'm like,
Yeah. To my adolescent boy brain, I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. And the music's good. Like the soundtrack is so sick.
Banging.
And, there's a lot of interesting stuff too. Like I know that like Oliver Stone like shot a ton of that movie on mushrooms.
It doesn't surprise me.
And he was like, there's a particular scene where, and I think they keep like, so they use some of the footage. I think it might have been a real cop
Indians,
car.
Yeah?
What?
With the shaman, and they have that head trip experience. And it comes up demon on the screen and stuff like that. It's like,
oh yeah, they trip in the film as part of the narrative of the film and fictionally, but also Oliver Stone was just handing out mushrooms to the cast and like tripping hard as shit. And there's a scene because I watched the behind the scenes commentary, and he was like, yeah, this is the part where basically like we were tripping balls driving in the desert trying to film a scene, and a cop cruiser pulled up behind them and started following them, and everybody's like getting real paranoid the way the movie is too, like that paranoia from the film. They're like experiencing that, and they're all tripping as and like, so that might have lent to why that film ended up feeling so real, is because they actually went out there and tripped in the desert.
Some of the best films, they, for whatever reason, you do pick up on the actual vibe of the filmmakers themselves. One of my favorite recent films is The Florida Project. And
what's it called?
The Florida Project.
I haven't even heard of that, dude.
Oh man, it's about a single mother and her daughter living just outside Disney, absolutely, kind of like broke and doing anything to survive. And you've got William Dafoe as the motel manager. He kind of thinks she's nice, but he's a bit old. He kind of a bit paternal, wants to look out for her. And it's heartbreaking. It just destroy you to the core. And it's so uncomfortable watching it, but it's so compulsive at the same time. I would definitely advise to check it out. It's called The Florida Project.
It's on my list, dude. I might even get it in tonight if I have time.
Just be prepared, man, because it'll fuck you up.
Well, man, Willem Dafoe is one of my absolute all-time favorites. So, man, I try not to miss anything he does, especially if he's in a main character role.
Yeah.
Shit, dude. Going back to, I got some more questions about Complete Darkness, if you don't mind.
Do
it. And this is one of the ones this book is complex because there's this is the future. Everything's complex. Everyone's living kind of a shattered reality for so many reasons because of tech, drugs, whatnot. But on the AI, Complete Darkness has so many different permutations of artificial intelligence. Can you explain the future betting underground?
Oh yeah. So the powers that be, right? These are a select group. Like there's always these rumors of really rich guys that probably exist somewhere. They get together, Elon and his pals. They're like a Illuminati, but they're basically a board. They've got so much money, they want something to bet on. So they bet on people's lives or whatever, But imagine if you have the exponential brain capacity of a planet, size brain, and then so these AIs, they want something that's random, and humans' nature is much more random than AI nature. So betting on who will sleep with next, or who will kill who. That's fun for them because they get it wrong sometimes. They can't always use their algorithms to perfectly track how human events are going to turn out. So for them, it puts that random jeopardy back in, and they'll wager ridiculous things to each other. Their rights to a company, or whatever. So it was just a bit of fun. It's never really fleshed out massively, and a lot of several people got in touch and said, "Hey, we want a spin-off story just about the powers that be, and it's the future betting underground, so that you can kind of, that's a story in itself to be told that." And I might do that one day, but it's kind of fun.
Oh yeah, I do. I could definitely use more of that, because I think the way you described it, and correct me if I'm wrong for sure, but like you were saying, because AI come from us, AI are like the children of humanity in a way.
Yeah,
like
we made them. Yeah,
we make them, and they're traits that come from us are in the AI. The AI, the ones that are, they're fully conscious, they're autonomous. Yep. And you were saying that like there's this innate desire to gamble in humans, and so that this like you said, this very powerful breakaway state of AIs that they're not loyal to any government or any humans, but the only thing they're really interested in is gambling. And so they run an entire illegal betting ring they're like AI bookies, betting on human actions.
and you couple that with my unlimited game show where all your life is forfeit, but you have unlimited credit. That's a lot of fun, because then they bet on that, because no one knows how that's going to happen, because humans are good at working out ways to get money off each other. And if you have unlimited money as the prize, still the people will do pretty much anything to get that. So
that is like some of the more nihilistic stuff in the book, is like, the unlimited game show where like if you're the winner, you're the richest person in the world, but whoever kills you gets to be the richest person in the world, and it's just a never-ending series of everyone killing whoever is the current winner.
That's right. That's taken from that actual, from a biblical verse. Like, was it gain a man to gain the whole world but lose his soul? So like, what does it gain? Just living in constant fear of your life being taken from you by anybody, and they can do it and not be punished for that. Is that worth having all the money?
No, dude, I would not play unlimited.
Okay, I'll take your name off the list.
Oh, hell, thanks, man. But I did have. So here's another thing, man. This is another like one of those. Is this just like ingrained in humans kind of question? It's another thing you added. It's also if you could just kind of like explain a little bit. I thought that the L2 sky screen was interesting, because in a world where people are even more isolated by tech and advanced psychoactive drugs, there's still this massive communal form of entertainment. Do you think that's something that we're just hardwired to always have, is to have some communal, like a concert or whatever?
Yeah. I mean, my answer to that is I hope so, because like I said, 20 years going to cinema every week with different crowds. I love those experiences. And there's something about watching a film with other people around you, hearing the gasps, seeing the reaction, or they're being bored or whatever. It changes your perception of it. And then, because I would quite often see a film again at home or a different situation, or with just a different crowd, and it can be a very different experience. It's so that the other great thing about having sky screens is that you don't need a screen; you just beam into the sky above you, and you can sit there wherever you want and watch it, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But equally, it allows me to go off into little kind of forays of Captain Adams, which is actually being shown on the sky screen as a fantasy, and then it may or may not blend into reality at the end. Much more.
I found that questionable, man.
Yeah. Good.
Once again, I'm skirting the spoiler area here, but this is an important part of where tech and theology merge, and I feel like in no other way in the book is it as much as in this way. And that's I guess GIX, who we know is our main protagonist, Cleric 20's bodyguard android, is also, so he's a modified god bot. Can you kind of explain how the god bots came into existence?
I mean, I get in lots of trouble when I say this, because the religious types don't like this. But if you look at any religion, especially the Christian religion, a lot of the leaders, they do bad things. They sin, they fuck up, and run off with their secretaries, or form a cult and kill people or whatever. You got a robot. He's never going to do that. He's just going to stay on message. Perfect evangelist. He'll deliver the facts, and then the exponential what if is like he meets a different robot with a different point of view. He's going to want to take that one out because it's a different point of view. So they actually end up causing the historic wars. It's kind of a parody of the Middle Eastern situation, the Northern Ireland situation. Every time that religion has come into conflict like this through human interaction, we can't escape it because it happens in droids as well. So like what the fuck,
Yeah, I found that so interesting. So these, they're called God bots, and the different religious factions send out their bots into the world to spread the gospel. And you've got your Buddha bots, and they're going around and they're spreading the word of Buddha. They're very peaceful bots. But then I feel like, I think I'm correct here, it's the Baptists are the ones that
Baptist bots.
They illegally upgrade their bots with military grade weaponry, so that if anyone throws a beer bottle at their bot, the bot will just kill that person, or can destroy like a Protestant bot or a Catholic bot if it wants to.
Or even a Muslim bot, or any bot speaking something different to them. So it's like an arms race in the God's bots. But fortunately for Cleric, Gix was a fully armed God bot, and that comes in handy when he needs a powerful ally.
I don't know why I didn't bring this up earlier. It was so interesting. Just another synchronicity thing, just out of nowhere. Do you guys have Jehovah's Witnesses in?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Okay, so we have a bunch of them here too. They actually have a church kind of near where I live, but because of COVID, they're not going door. So these guys go door to door, and they'll knock on your door, and then they'll be like, "Hey, have you heard the word of God?" And then you can either be like, "No," or I'll be like, "Oh, I don't want to talk about it," But so during COVID, so I got a handwritten letter in the mail, which I don't get a ton of. I mean, I still get some, but most people these days just text you, or email you. So I was like, "Oh, what is this?" And I was like, "Who is this guy? Tommy? I don't know Tommy." I opened it up. It was a Jehovah's Witness explaining. He's like, "Hey, we're not going door to door because we're not trying to spread COVID, but here's me trying to get you to join my religion." And I was like, "This is so wild," because I'm just up like this was shit. I'm gonna say 30 minutes before I had to be on my call with you, and I was like, "We're going to be discussing like the future of when they have bots robots doing this instead of Tommy." So
let's don't get COVID.
Well, Matt, I've got one thing to say, and one thing to say only. We are getting dangerously close to the lightning round.
Ooh.
So I don't know if you're familiar with how the lightning round works, so I'll give you a quick explanation. This is where I start asking you questions super fast, and you can't take any time to think. You just gotta just gut reaction off the top of your head. That's the answer, and that's the game part of the podcast, man.
I like it.
I think you're gonna win.
Gut reaction for a reason, right? And we are evolved species, and it's part of our predator nature to be able to gut react stuff. So let's see how it works. Mine might be screwed up by the mushrooms, but
And fortunately, you've had enough mushroom beer to be ready to just say what you fucking think. Let's go ahead and start with.
It's also my disclaimer. Just getting it out there.
When I first thought of this question, I was like, "Oh, this is easy." And then the more I thought about it, the more I realized it's actually hard, dude. So
build it up. Why don't
this is one of the things. I think the best thing to do is go with your gut, because if you think about it too long, you'll always feel like you made the wrong decision. And the answer, the question is,
great, thanks.
All right, you can only pick one of these things.
Okay.
Would you rather have an AI droid bodyguard or an advanced mech suit built to your specifications?
Oh, I'd take the AI droid.
Okay.
Just because they can go do stuff and I don't even have to do it myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, having a butler servant, always my dream.
The only reason I was just thinking that, when I added built to your specifications, I was saying your mech suit could it could also be be highly recreational. You could go base jumping and all kinds of gnarly shit.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If we had both, I would take both. But you said one or the other, so I'm going.
Yeah, dude. I'd rather have a GI6 too. I mean, a GI-X. Yeah. All right. So you heard it here first, guys. It's better to have an Android bodyguard. Next one, man. Preferred genre of sci-fi, space opera or post-apocalyptic fiction?
That's so tough. Post-apocalyptic probably just squeaks it, but it's real close.
Yeah.
Because I think, like we've touched on, we may live to see some of this post-apocalyptic crap happen to us. Mad Max. That's definitely happening after the oil wars, right?
Yeah.
But space operas, I would love. They make me dream. They make me see incredible things. But it's less likely that we're ever going to experience them.
Bro, I think I'm gonna have to go ahead and agree with you on that. The post-apocalyptic fiction genre, just by a hair. That I'm gonna say, like, yeah, I definitely read more of that. I watch more, but space opera really, there's not a lot of film that lends itself to that genre. That really truly still lives mostly in literature. But yeah, those are those kind of those are the kind of books that just take you away, man, to a whole, and especially the ones that you got to read like 5 books to get through the story.
Like Dune or something. Dune's the closest to jump to the film recently, because like that's expansive and great. But like
Dune is it's interesting you said that. I'm actually looking over at my bookshelf. I have read, I think, about 15 of the Dune books.
Yeah.
So I mean, I got obsessed with Dune. All right, moving on. This is a lightning round. I'm supposed to go fast. I'm sorry, bro.
All right, so yeah.
All right. So let's just say we're in a hypothetical. You decide, all right, you guys, Universal Pictures hits you up. They're like, okay, check it out, man. We want to do a film adaptation of this movie. We're gonna have you be the screenwriter, so like you're completely involved with the creative process. We're gonna go even one step further. We have our budgets like astronomical, so you get to pick the director. So you can pick any director to direct a film adaptation of Complete Darkness. Who would you pick?
The Drive guy, Refn. He made Only God Forgives, Drive, and Neon Demon. Nicholas Refn is a
Nicholas Griffin. Name. I am unfamiliar.
Refn. It's he spells his name in a European way. But you must have seen Drive, the heist movie Drive, with Ryan Gosling. Yeah.
Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, he's a stuntman by day, drives heists by night, and it's
very dude. How have I missed this fucking movie? No, I haven't seen it.
You need to basically stop this podcast and go and see that movie, because it'll jump up there with Point Break as one of your faves. Yeah,
dude. And I like Ryan Gosling too, man. I think he's funny.
Oh, he's not just funny. He's awesome. He hardly says anything in this film, but it's all. And Carey Mulligan, who's my actress crush. Her husband is in jail. He moves next to her. He kind of starts to look out for her and her little son. It's a beautiful kind of romance waiting to happen, but it's all unrequited because he's such a good guy. He doesn't want to step in on this guy's wife, and then that asshole gets out of prison and it all kicks off. And there's a heist, and it's like, oh man, it's great.
That sounds sick as hell, dude. Yeah, I mean, I love he's one of those rare actors too, like where when they did the sequel to Blade Runner, first of all, I liked it immensely.
He nailed it.
And I thought he was a great choice, man. He played such a good Blade Runner, like that. Yeah. That detachment and all that was so good.
I just put my cyberpunk hosting the show hat on here real quick. And are they replicants, Deckard and Kay, or are they just humans, Blade Runners?
Ooh, this is a tough question. So you're saying, like, do I believe that Blade Runners are right in their career? Man, I'm gonna say no, because partly because I am hands down, I'm a Philip K. Dickhead, like to the core, and nice. So I read the original book, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
Yeah.
And Philip K. Dick's original, his intentions behind so many of his stories that get translated into movies, they lose what he's trying to say. And just for people out there, like, if you haven't read the book and you've only seen the movie, the main character Decker, is it Decker?
Yeah.
His entire motivation is that he wants to buy a fucking sheep, because it's so like, in today, in modern times, having a Rolex or a fucking Lexus, that's how we have social status symbols now of that. In the future, if you own an animal, that's like as high social status as you can get. But most people, all they can afford, and you still have to be pretty rich to do this, is to buy a replicant version. So he has what he has a replicant sheep, and he doesn't want his neighbors to know that his sheep is a replicant, and he wants to make enough money to buy a real sheep. And that is the whole reason he's a Blade Runner.
That makes a lot of sense. Oh man.
the whole thing, his motivations are invalid, man. He's just trying to impress his neighbors. He's just trying to increase his social status, and he gets a bounty for every replicant that he kills. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and say no, man. I want to say the replicants, if they're conscious and they're sentient, how are they different than us?
Good. Well, we could talk about this for hours, but yeah, that's cool.
And the reason that all the replicants are coming back to Earth is because they were being used as slaves on colonies on like a distant planet, and there was a slave uprising, and they wanted their own freedom. What could be more human than that? Yeah,
man. Wow, that's cool. Anyway, look, back to the lightning rounds. I need to
okay. All right, we got one more right here, dude. What form of cybernetic tech would have to be invented before you would decide to undergo elective surgery for a cybernetic enhancement?
Wow. Wowee. I'm gonna go with just it already exists, but you can't get it yet. It's just for the natural market. So I like to go to the gym, and I'm getting old. So, after you're 40, your muscle mass starts losing every single day if you're a man. And then that's just nature doing its thing. So having some like augmented muscles to kind of combat that, fatigue loss, that would be cool.
That'd be cool as hell, dude, to be able to just get a cybernetic upgrade that just turns you into the Rock.
Well, just strong enough, because I can bench 100 kilos, whatever. But it's taking me a while to get back to that. And when I was 18, I could do that for fun. And now I have to work hard to, but it's
All right, man. Well, Matt, I have one last question for you, dude. It's the most important question of all. Where can people find you? Like your socials, check you out. Your book, man, the comic book. You've got a lot of creations out there. So I guess really just the question is, where can people find you and everything?
Wow. I mean, okay, cool. So, I mean, I'm not a huge Amazon fan, but most of my stuff is available on Amazon. There aren't many Matt Adcocks out there. God bless them. And there's no one else who's written a book called Complete Darkness, to my knowledge, as yet. So if you find me, you can click on my name. Other books will come up. This is my new baby. It's called Dread Cold. This is my horror anthology.
Oh, that looks really cool.
And it was a competition where people had to write a story about this idyllic-looking castle. And my entry is that it's a sleep study. You get put in a dark room in the basement for 7 days, and to see how having no light affects you. Only the twist is that they don't feed you, and they just watch you die on HD camera in the dark, and then they get someone else in, and that just carries on. But anyway, so if you like being freaked out, I would recommend that. The comic, this is my dream. Look at this. This is me in a Matrix. This is how I would look if I was, when
I was reading your comic book, I assumed that the artist had based his illustration of Cleric 20 on you. So am I correct?
In my dreams. Yeah, you were right. But I need to pay him more money because he's done a great job. But the comic book we're working on issue 2 at the moment. This is where after the prequel, the first comic book is just a Starlight Bounce prequel. Now we get into London 2 and the whole kind of end of the world stuff. So we're having an absolute blast doing that. We've got a gallery that wants to show it in the gallery. People walk around and study it, and it's only in its second issue, so it's doing well. It's selling good numbers. That's cool. You can get that on Etsy at the moment. It's the best place to get it because I haven't gone through jumping through the hoops to put it on Amazon. I write so much stuff. I can't help write stuff. I just did this for Flatline, which is a new cyberpunk zine.
Oh, sick.
And it's great cover, right?
Yeah, I love that.
So there's cyberpunk poetry in there, which is a new thing for me, as well as short stories set in the same universe as Complete Darkness. So if you like Complete Darkness, you want to see digital priests getting hunted by a vigilante in the future for their crimes. That happens in there. Social media, Cleric 20. There are very few people called Cleric 20. My email's been Cleric 20 for years, and people have been like, "What the fuck is that? What's wrong with you, Matt?" Now, when you have Matt in there, I'm like, "You'll see. One day you'll see." I had faith I'd get published, and now people are like, "Oh, you sneaky bastard! I see now what you did." So, okay.
Yeah, because it's someday there's going to be thousands of people trying to change their email to Cleric 20, and they're going to be pissed because you got it first, man.
Fingers crossed. And my PlayStation gamer tag, Xbox, all that. It's all, I've got in there first. So
Matt, thanks for being on the show, bro.
Dude, it's an absolute pleasure. It's rare you meet such kindred spirits, but your taste in films, fucking on point, man. So I think we'd get on if I ever get over there. I'll come say hi, have a bit.
Absolutely. Yeah, dude. If you ever find yourself here in America, man, make your way down to Nashville. And yeah, we'll go grab a beer and take some mushrooms, dude.
100%. Cheers, bro.
Cheers, bro.